Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, Tasmania's border with Victoria will stay open despite a COVID scare putting Melbourne on high alert. 14 exposure sites have been identified across the city after a hotel quarantine worker contracted the virus.
At testing stations, it was bumper to bumper as Melburnians rallied to fight a familiar foe.
I've had a bit of a sniffle, so just doing what I can for everyone.
The city again on edge after a hotel quarantine worker contracted the virus. 14 exposure sites have been identified. The man visited 2 locations last Friday, another 2 on the Saturday. On the Sunday, he ate at a cafe, then went to 2 Kmarts and a Coles. The following day, he visited 6 spots spread across the city's southeast. Today, the race was on to stop another outbreak.
I'm not waiting till tomorrow, but getting tested today is critically important, and to that end, we're so pleased to see a very strong response.
13,000 results were received by health authorities this morning, prompting extra testing stations to be established and a call to stay calm.
We can't have people just stampeding through these places. It's got to be done carefully, slowly, meticulously. I don't want a testing site to become a super spreading site.
Overnight, Tasmania declared 8 of Melbourne's exposure sites as high risk, barring anyone who visited the spots from entering the state.
I think that Tasmania and Victoria can see that we are really developing the capabilities to detect these cases as they arise, to get to them early.
At Hobart Airport, Victoria-bound travellers stuck to their plans.
I think that Victoria's done a really good job, and Dan Andrews has really improved the contact tracing. So we're really confident they'll nail this.
I'm careful. I fly every week, so I'm very careful that I keep my distance and disinfect everything.
Meanwhile, the door remains closed to Perth after a single case emerged there last week. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Yet here, a flood warning is in place for the north and northwest, with heavy rainfall expected to lash the region over coming days. Up to 70 millimetres of rain is forecast tomorrow and Saturday, with the towns around the Meander and Mersey rivers particularly at risk.
There's quite a high risk of flash flooding, rivulet rises, rivulets coming up quite rapidly, and even flooding in the major rivers.
Certainly, with the amount of rainfall that we're looking at, we do have concerns about the flash flooding event and what that could lead to.
The SES is urging those in the areas to prepare for the wild weather and drive cautiously. Former Tasmanian Police Minister Reen Hidding is facing civil action over allegations he sexually interfered with a teenage girl 4 decades ago. The claim filed in the Hobart Supreme Court alleges Mr Hidding intentionally applied force to the plaintiff without her consent. It's alleged the incidents took place over a 6-month period in 1979 at Mr Hidding's Lagana home. Police investigation ended in 2019 following legal advice that there was little prospect of prosecution. Mr Hidding has strongly denied the claims. A proposed recycling scheme offering a 10-cent refund for containers and bottles is gaining traction, with the state government announcing how it is likely to work. 2 operators will work side by side under the chosen model, which is at odds with what some beverage companies want.
Toasting what's hoped to be the mother of all recycling schemes.
We believe we get the best of both worlds by having a split governance model.
Broken down, that means there are 2 fingers in the pie. One company collects the containers, another looks after the finance and administration of the scheme. The same model used in New South Wales and proposed for Victoria and run by private enterprise, which claims to collect more containers.
We're less reliant on government creating targets and policing and auditing the scheme because everyone's trying to get the best for themselves.
But lobby group Tas Recycle, backed by the beverage industry, says the model isn't as effective, claiming it is cheaper and creates more jobs to have industry run the whole scheme, like it does in South Australia and other states. For Tasmanians, the refund is the same. You'll get 10 cents back for each container dropped off at a collection point once the refunds roll in next year.
I am confident that the community is going to benefit because we're going to see less litter around.
While the state government is also pushing ahead with a statewide waste levy set to start at $20 a tonne, gradually increasing to $60, seen as critical to reducing landfill, especially after laws around exporting waste offshore have tightened in recent years.
I think the opportunity really is there for new innovative ways to deal with this waste.
One dirty side effect though, the potential for illegal dumping, especially at charities, to skirt the levy.
What we're hoping is that some of those levy proceeds will be directed to education and dumping prevention measures.
A draft of the levy is now open for public comment. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
The Tasmanian Aboriginal community is another step closer to having sacred rock art return to its original site half a century after it was removed. Preparations are now on track for the Premengana petroglyphs to be handed back early next month, along with a public apology.
For decades, the Aboriginal Land Council has been advocating for the return of the Premengana petroglyphs.
This is the manifestation of traditional Aboriginal occupation of Tasmania.
This sacred Aboriginal rock art was taken from the remote northwest more than 50 years ago.
Our people didn't write things down on a piece of paper, they recorded them in the rock art. And to go and cut a piece of that away destroys the jigsaw puzzle.
One of the petroglyphs was displayed at the Tasmanian Museum and Art Gallery before being moved into storage. Now it's one step closer to being returned.
At last, our people's stories are being honoured and put back into the place where they were originally created.
The petroglyphs are expected to be returned early next month, where a cleansing ceremony will take place. TMAG and the Royal Society of Tasmania will also issue a joint public apology for their past policies and practices.
And that indicates a genuine shift in the policy of museums, and also hopefully it reflects a change in Tasmania.
The organisations say the move is a demonstration of their commitment to strengthening relationships with the Tasmanian Aboriginal people. The Aboriginal Affairs Minister says the government hasn't been involved in the process and avoided answering questions on whether it would also apologise.
We understand the basis for those and commend them for recognising the impact of those collections and the ways that those items were removed without permission.
In what's expected to be an emotional ceremony, the official apology will take place on February 15. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
As Newtown and North Hobart do battle on the cricket pitch next Sunday, spectators will be able to support those battling breast cancer. The inaugural Bat for Boobs cocktail luncheon will be held adjacent to the ground, with the clubs aiming to raise over $25,000 for the McGrath Foundation.
One of the players at the Newtown Cricket Club, his future mother-in-law had just been diagnosed with breast cancer, and he asked if the club would be interested in doing a small fundraiser, and we said, look, why don't we do something better?
It's a great cause, but it's also something that affects so many people in Australia. So being able to be here playing women's cricket for something that affects so many females, it's really nice to know that we can give back and help out in whatever way possible.
The foundation raises awareness of breast health and installs dedicated care nurses in communities to support those with the disease. 2 thylacines in Launceston's Brisbane Street Mall are being caged after complaints from the public. Residents say they are a tripping hazard, prompting the council to redesign where the bronze statues will be placed. The revised blueprint aims to make the tigers more visible to pedestrians, while still allowing children to see and touch them.
It's a very small number of people that have come and complained about them. A lot more people have come to me and said, Albert, whatever you do, make sure you don't remove them. So we're hoping this is a compromise for now, and we're hoping it's going to be something that we can come up with a solution that then everybody can be happy.
The pair of shunned thylacines will return to the mall when the new design is installed. The Bob Brown Foundation has confirmed it will take its bid to end native forest logging in Tasmania to the High Court. Meeting with supporters today, the environmental group says it's instructed lawyers to prepare an application for special leave to appeal yesterday's federal court judgment.
And people want to see this fight go all the way to the High Court with that court, and hopefully looking at our national environmental protection legislation for the first time.
We're on the front foot, we're up and going, and we're looking forward to winning this battle, even though we've lost a skirmish.
It's expected the process will take up to 5 months.
Tasmanian Harry Bouchier stepped onto the biggest stage of his career last night, playing Nick Kyrgios in the second round of the Murray River Open. He was reduced to a spectator at one point though, as Kyrgios had one of his trademark meltdowns, having been called for a time violation.
Does it really need to happen? Probably not. He's just going to make the point and hopefully we'll be able to move on.
Bouchier managed to send the second set to a tiebreaker, but went down in straight sets, 6-2, 7-6. The Devils' NAB League campaign kicks off this Saturday with the women's side facing the Gippsland Power. The squad's hopes are high following a strong pre-season and intra-squad practice match held last weekend.
That's the best I've ever felt in the Devils as a team that we've played. The link-up we had, the passage of play, it's really good.
Just the improvement that the girls have shown in the last sort of 8-10 weeks, that we've been training all together, I think has been enormous.
Last year's season was derailed by the pandemic with only 2 games played.
Good evening. Hobart and Launceston both 25 today. Burnie 21, Devonport reached 22. Ouse warmed right up to 28 degrees. Campania 27 and Grove 26. Flinders Island 25 today. Friendly Beaches 24. In the west, Strawn 23. Lowhead 21. King Island a top of 20. Low-level convective cloud over most of the state today. Bit more heading our way though. Cloud is circling around a low to our southeast. Extensive cloud is over southern South Australia. A band of cloud containing thunderstorms links Western Australia to New South Wales. A lot happening there. Tomorrow, the complex area of low pressure will approach our northwest. Lows and associated low pressure troughs across the North Island. The winds east-northeasterly at 15 to 25 knots, tending northeasterly to 30 knots in the afternoon. Lighter inland and over the central west. Now a severe weather warning for northern Tasmania for heavy rain. A strong wind warning from Sandy Cape to Low Rocky Point, and we do have a flood watch. That's for the northwest, northern and northeast river catchments. Forecast for tomorrow, 26 for Hobart, rain developing, rain on the way too for Huonville, 26 the top, same for Campania. Launceston 25, heavy rain, possible storm, same for Devonport, but 23 the maximum, and 24 for Georgetown. Burnie, heavy rain, maybe a storm, 21, 25 for Strawn. Heavy rain for Wynyard, 22 degrees. St Helens, rain increasing, 23 the top, 22 for Swansea. Rain developing for Port Arthur and 26 degrees. UV, an extreme 11 posted for tomorrow. On Saturday, rain again with further heavy falls over the north, the east and the central north. Conditions improving on Sunday with showers contracting to the west and far south in the afternoon. Partly cloudy for most on Monday's Regatta Day holiday. A shower over the west. Sunny in Perth tomorrow, a showery windy day in Adelaide, rain and storms forecast for Melbourne. Showers for Canberra but sunny in Sydney, partly cloudy and 30 in Brisbane. Cloud moving in, Hobart 25, Launceston 23 at the moment, cloudy in Devonport and 19 degrees. It might be a good idea to monitor the State Emergency Services and the Bureau's websites over the weekend in case those warnings do change. A lot of falling of rain in the catchment areas, may see some flash flooding, Kim, but as long as we know what's going on, monitor those situations and we should be okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Murph. And that is all your news for now. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your evening. Good night.